American robins are one of the most common birds in North America. Their beautiful songs greet us in the early morning and as the sun sets. Males and females have the same basic coloring, a sooty colored head and an orange front. They also have a white broken eye ring, white streaks on the throat, and white under the tail. The coloring of males is brighter and more saturated, while females are more muted and washed out. Females have white on the breast in varying amounts, whereas males have little to none, or sometimes just a light trimming of white on the feathers. Also, the beak on males is predominantly bright yellow, whereas on females, it's yellow with a lot more brown mixed in. Here's something fun. If you want to identify individual robins at your feeder or in your yard, take note of the pattern of the eye ring and the throat streaks. These traits are very individual. Some robins have an eye ring that is more continuous, and others have less continuity. Similar is the throat. Some have more white and fewer streaks, whereas others don't have so much. Juvenile robins have brown spots on the chest with pale orange on the sides of the breast and brown beaks. The feathers on the upper back are ticked with white, and they don't yet have the eye ring. The history of how the American robin got its name is quite fascinating. To understand this, we first need to talk about the European robin. The European robin is a member of the chat family, which previously had been under the wider umbrella of the thrush family. More recently, it has been classified as an Old World flycatcher in the chat subfamily. When early colonial settlers arrived to the New World and saw the similarly colored bird, they gave it the name of robin for its likeness to the familiar robin back home. The American robin is a type of thrush in the family Turdidae and is known as Turdus migratorius, meaning migrating thrush. And the nickname robin redbreast. Well, why redbreast and not orangebreast, as it is obviously orange? When the European robin was named, the word orange wasn't part of the vernacular at that time. Sound strange? Well, oranges were introduced to England in the 1300s. It wasn't until the 1500s that the word orange was used to describe the color, but by that time, redbreast had already been around for a while and cemented as the bird's name. It's common to see a robin hopping across a suburban lawn or in a park, pulling worms out of their burrows. It takes a few steps, cocks its head to one side, and pounces beak first into the soil. Exactly how they locate worms is a question that continues to perplex scientists. What senses do they use to find them? Are they locating them by sight? Do they hear them, or feel vibrations under their feet? There are two major studies that have done experiments on this, but their results contradict each other. The first studies showed that auditory cues were drowned out by ambient noise like traffic, suggesting that they find worms through visual cues alone. In the other study, scientists put worms in soil in a tray, covered it with thin cardboard, and then put another layer of soil on top of that. Despite eliminating the robin's ability to see movement of dirt or worms, they were still able to find them. This suggests that auditory cues play an important role, especially in the absence of visual information. And as for their plunge dive into soil, they are assisted by sensory receptors known as Herbst corpuscles. These specialized receptors help them sense the movement of worms in soil, even when the worms are a few centimeters away. These receptors are in their skin, legs, and feet, and are densely packed in their beaks. Humans have a similar receptor in the skin known as Pacinian corpuscles, which allow us to sense pressure and vibration. Which senses they use and to what degree is still a mystery, but it's clear that there's a lot of sophisticated biology going on in these songbirds. Robins aren't just consumers of earthworms. Their diet is highly variable, changing with the seasons. They also eat beetles, caterpillars, spiders, snails, and slugs. In the late summer, fall, and winter, they eat berries. They are important seed dispersers for many species of plants. You may also see them at your feeders eating hulled sunflower seed, suet, and fruit. As their scientific name describes, they are migrants. Many in the far north will migrate south in the fall, whereas others in lower latitudes will spend the winter in their breeding range. It all depends on the availability of food. In the colder months, they are often found in large flocks and spend their time in trees rather than on the ground like they do in spring and summer. I always appreciate hearing and seeing robins during any time of the year. Do you have any stories about the robin that you'd like to share? Or if you live outside of North America, what kind of robin is in your area? Feel free to leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching. That's all for this time. I'll see you again soon.